Good afternoon, I'm TK, and this is TK's video blog. Good to have you with us, good to see you all again. Welcome. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's get right down to it, shall we? And review our movie of the day. This week's movie is The Fall Guy. The movie stars Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Hannah Waddingham, Teresa Palmer, Stephanie Hsu, Winston Duke, Adam Dunn, Zara Michaels, Ben Knight, and Jason Momoa in a cameo, and also Lee Majors, the original Fall Guy, in the original Fall Guy TV show, and also Heather Thomas, also in the original Fall Guy TV show, both in cameo roles as well. So those are quite interesting and quite special as well. So what's the movie about? Well, this movie is very loosely based on the 1980s TV show. So basically the plot of the movie is very crazy, very funny, and it's essentially this. A stuntman working on his ex-girlfriend's directorial debut action film, with sparks flying every which way between him and her, finds himself involved in a massive conspiracy, laced with dead bodies and a missing film lead. The lead in his ex-girlfriend's new movie, as fate would have it. And it's up to him to try to track down the lead and untangle the web of mystery and death. So, let's talk about the movie a little more in depth now, shall we? So, the plot of the movie is an interesting plot indeed. It has a lot of twists and turns in it, but it is very entertaining. I think it's well thought out. Everything is in there for a reason. Nothing doesn't make sense. It all works. Now I will say, I'm not going to give away any spoilers about where the plot goes or the twists and turns, but I will say this. The Fall Guy, it refers to Ryan Gosling, his character. It refers to the profession, of course, as a stuntman, the Fall Guy, but it also has a couple other references in the movie too. It has a couple other meanings in the movie too, aside from him just being a stuntman. So that's kind of interesting to see that as well, and to pick up on those. That was enjoyable for me, kind of clever how they work that in there. Now, as I said earlier, remember, another element to the plot is Ryan Gosling's character and Emily Blunt's character. They were both former lovers, and now they're working on the same movie together, and he's actually working for her as opposed to like equals. So that's an interesting dynamic there. It's interesting to see how that plays out. Interesting to hear and see the banter and see the sparks flying and everything. See how they reconnect and see the friendship and everything and how their relationship kind of grows and how it expands. And yeah, that's just very interesting to see, very entertaining. And again, it works in the movie, it has a purpose. I think that furthers along the plot, which is really what you want for a plot, and really what you want in that kind of stuff in a movie, is you want it to further along the plot. You want it to move along the plot and enhance the movie and make it more entertaining and enjoyable, and that certainly does. Also, the whole mystery element to the plot, the whole dead bodies, the whole missing lead actor thing, that is also very entertaining to see. Now, I love mysteries myself and like whodunits and all that stuff, so that's also interesting for me anyway, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you, that kind of stuff. But that's also interesting. That's an interesting element of the plot as well. And yeah, I mean, overall the plot, it just really jives. It moves along. It has a good pacing to it, I think, and it just makes sense. There's nothing in it that's in it just because. It all is in it for a reason, and it just lands well, I think. So the plot, very interesting plot. All the elements, I think, jive and work together. And yeah, just a great plot. Now, the casting in the movie, very well cast. I'm not usually a fan of Ryan Gosling. I'm sorry to everybody who's a Ryan Gosling fan out there. I just think he's a little bit overrated, or can be. Now, that said, I found him very entertaining in this movie. I found him very funny, very charming. So this movie, to me, is a rare exception. I liked him in this movie. Emily Blunt, of course, she's fantastic in this movie. And the thing that's really cool about them is the chemistry between the two. It is believable, I feel, and it just works. It doesn't feel like it's forced, and that is great whenever chemistry between two actors is like that and it's believable. It just makes the movie even better. It takes it up another notch. Now, the rest of the cast, very well cast in their roles as well. Winston Duke, some of you might remember him from the Black Panther movies. He is funny in this movie. You see kind of a different side of him than you do in the Black Panther movies, so he's very enjoyable as well. Now, Lee Majors in his cameo, I mean, he doesn't really add much. I mean, he adds like a tie-in to the 1980s TV show, which is very, very, very loosely connected to this. But he and Heather Thomas, they are both nice tie-ins to the original Fall Guy TV show, so that's nice to see. Yeah, overall the cast is very well cast, a lot of heart, a lot of emotion in the roles, and very believable. And the believability, that's key, I think, in any cast, because you want to believe what the actors are selling, and you do in this movie, I think. Now, as far as the editing in this movie, that's a big thing for me. I think it's put together well. It has a great flow. The pacing is good too. I don't think it moves slow. I think it really goes at a good pace throughout and really keeps your attention throughout. So again, that's really, really good. I also think the lighting in the movie kind of fits the tone of the movie, and that also leads me into the visual effects, which they kind of, you have to have explosions in this movie, like, because they're on a movie set, and you have to have like other visual effects in this movie. I won't give too much away, but I think they are very good. They are very realistic. I like them a lot, so that I give that very high marks as well in this movie. Now, the music in this movie is interesting. So, in the original Fall Guy TV show, Lee Majors sang the Fall Guy theme song, "The Unknown Subman." Now, Blake Shelton covers that song on the soundtrack in this movie. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not great. It's good it's Blake Shelton, so I mean, of course it's good. But I mean, it's not great, I don't think, but it's good. It sets the tone. It's a good theme song. But the song that's really the key in this movie, the song that is really like the theme song of this movie, is "I Was Made for Loving You" by Kiss. You know the song, "I was made for loving you, baby, do 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 do." Okay, I promise that's all the singing I'm going to do in this vlog. So that's the main title song of this movie, and it kind of like encompasses a relationship between Ryan Gosling's character and Emily Blunt's character. So in that respect, it fits the movie very well, and it's just a really good song. It kind of is memorable. It sticks in your head. I know after I saw the movie, I had it like playing in my head several times. I even listened to it on my iPod, which didn't help the fact it was in my head. But anyhow, that song really fits the movie, and I think really enhances the movie and really makes it memorable. So yeah, that song is really good. The music in the movie, I think, really jives, and it's just really good. I mean, and it's all because I think that title song, "I Was Made for Loving You," that really, I think, sets the tone and works perfectly. It fits the movie perfectly. So overall, the movie, I mean, everything jives in it. Music works, editing works, story works, everything works. So it's really good overall, I think. So now, the moment of truth, the very important question. What would I give the movie out of 20, and would I recommend it to you all? Well, I think I'd have to give the movie an 18 out of 20, and here's why. While I really enjoyed the movie and everything worked in it, there were some issues with it. I think the biggest one is that while it was an action-adventure movie, that means that it really relied on that, and that was fine. That's fine when a movie does that. But it also means that there's a little bit less character development in it, and a little more just like action-adventure, focusing on that. And again, that's fine. There's no problem with that. It's just the character development, that's just a big thing for me, and that's something that I think really enhances a movie and makes a movie better and would take it to the next level. And that was missing a little bit from this movie. That was lacking a little bit from this movie. So that is why I would have to give it an 18 out of 20. That's why I'd have to knock off those 2 points. But at 18 out of 20, it's a very good score, very strong score, very entertaining movie, and I would absolutely highly recommend watching it. It's on DVD now and streaming as well. So yeah, definitely if you get a chance to check it out, I would highly recommend it. 18 out of 20 for sure, without a doubt. Alright, well, looking at my watch, it looks like we're about out of time. So please, until next week, remember, all season long, you can comment on this video blog. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me what you'd like to see me do differently, maybe. I want to hear from you. I really do. So, with that said, also, I'd like to remind you all that you can recommend a movie, TV show, book, song, anything you want me to review. And maybe I'll review it for you all right here on TK's video blog. Now, I can't always promise you'll like the review or agree with everything I have to say in the review. However, I promise I will always give an honest review, and I will always give a fair review. That's my commitment and my promise to you all, as always. So, with that all being said, until next week, take care, be safe, goodbye everyone, have a great weekend, and I'll see you right back here next week.